I say you get in there. You slowly get in there.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday.
Election Day Part 2.
Oh my gosh, a day that'll never end. Yes, but a better day, a better ending to this day than last night into this morning, I would think. It is Wednesday. It's November 4th, 2020, and we are getting updates as we speak regarding the election of 2020, the presidential election. When many people went to bed last night, there was a lot of depression. There, people were just kind of bereft, befuddled, not bemused, and
Not at all.
bummed,
Not at
and
all.
very bummed.
And pissed off to the highest level of pissdom.
Curiosity.
Yes, pissosity.
But as we greeted the sun today, hopefully the sun came out where you are, and we saw that there is hope to a different number, hope to a different number by a different candidate, I should say. And so as we get closer to that number of 270, as a result of and it's not fuzzy math, it's just consistent math in getting numbers from some of these battleground states today, Wisconsin and Michigan, the battleground states of the Midwest. There is good news in terms of wins by Joe Biden, as he said last night. Keep the faith, and people did, and they continue to say their prayers and put things up and maybe put some fruit out and all that other kind of stuff
I
that you do.
know.
And
Burn the sage and everything else. Yes, whatever worked. Whatever.
But
We accept all of it.
so
if we're gonna
first
be
of
honest,
all,
it's
Wisconsin came, and then the second later this afternoon came Michigan, and now we're at 264 electoral votes out of
wait,
270.
who got called for 264? Last I saw was
Oh, really?
253.
This
253.
afternoon, no, I have 264.
Oh, really? Oh, I see. 253. I need to turn to your station.
Well, I'll
So
check and see.
I know why. So I think I have the answer. Arizona's
So,
11 were called last
right,
night, and then they got
right,
recalled.
right, right,
Arizona's
right,
11 were called for Biden last night, then they got recalled. It's
right,
still looking good for Biden, but
right.
those 11 got taken out of the win column, and that would make the 264 that you have,
Yep.
right? Because everything else right now is reporting 253.
I'm gonna go with 264.
That's Arizona.
I want to be in Sybil's class.
Yeah, and you can call it fake news if you like, whoever. But it's just he's gotten a lot of grief. Donald Trump has today because of, first of all, the press conference that he had, or whatever that was, in the White House, having a political event once again at the White House, which was not supposed to be. That is against the rules. And he did also tell them to stop voting and stop counting.
Yeah, in
Well,
Michigan.
it stopped counting in Michigan and Pennsylvania, but keep counting in Nevada. So there's that. So
Yeah.
wait.
Yeah.
And
I think it's the east of the Mississippi thing. I think it's the east of the Mississippi. You're supposed to stop counting, and west of the west you keep counting. I think that's logical to me.
And nothing about the vote. I mean, it was just crazy about voting and all that kind of nonsense. So here we are. And lawsuits have already commenced. But he started putting his legal team together weeks ago, and even people like who was it, Christie and Chris Wallace, and just harangued him last night.
Yeah.
First of all, for having that speech and claiming victory, and secondly, for all of these decisions regarding the lawyers and lawyering up, as it were. So,
did you see the Trumpsters that showed up this afternoon in Michigan?
Yeah.
Yelling, stop the vote. Stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, how the hell you going? It's not over. There's still votes to be counted.
I'm a staunch Washington football team fan, and there are many times we've been up in the third quarter against the dreaded Dallas Cowboys. I've never screamed at the end of the third quarter, "Stop the game!" No! Stop the game right now! No! I'm good. Stop the game!
Stop playing. Stop playing. Stop
Yeah,
playing.
I've never done that. Never. Not once. Well,
I know.
once, but that didn't count.
As we look back on yesterday as the whole of the election cycle, and still, as I was saying to a friend, the battle for the Senate has been lost. All of the hopes and dreams for the Democrats, they've lost. In terms of making big differences and turning over the Senate, especially with a lot of those candidates that people thought that
That
the
they stood a
opposition
chance.
would beat. Starting with Susan Collins of Maine. Nobody gave her a shot of winning.
Including her
Nobody.
mama. Her mama was like, I'll make a room for you back home, but
I'm as surprised as you are. Then, of course, a lot of disappointment for folks in terms of South Carolina because they really thought that Jamie Harrison was going to pull it out. They thought that Amy McGrath had a chance in terms of Mitch McConnell. In Texas, John Cornyn won against MJ Hagar. And there were a couple of, I just went blank. But here's the thing. I'm not sure that pollsters have jobs anymore because all of the polls, all of the numbers, as they were showing these candidates and how the race was looking, they were up.
Off.
Wait.
Maybe,
for the second time, by the way, for the second time.
Mm-hmm.
They were, okay, you got this much of a lead. Okay, you got this much of a lead. Okay, you back down. But these people lost by double digits. So I'm not sure if you can blame the polling, the poor polling on coronavirus because they weren't able to get to people. I'm not sure if people don't answer their phones anymore and they don't want to. Or the other thing that I thought about and want to know your opinions on this. Do you think that people, when they went into the voting poll, the booth itself, they said, okay, if we vote for Joe Biden, we want some balance. And so we're going to vote for these Republicans to stay in the Senate because there is some concern that, there was too much of a blue wave that was being predicted. So do you think people voted for just because they wanted, you said Biden's going to win. So I'm going to vote for the Republican here?
I think people voted for who they wanted to vote for. I really think that there's something wrong with the polling. I kind of equate that to the Nielsen ratings. Mm-hmm. You know how the Nielsen ratings would always have, oh, this is the number one show. And you would ask your friends, and we would be like, I ain't never seen that show. I've never talked to a pollster. Mm-hmm. None of my friends have ever talked to a pollster. So I would just question who all are they polling to come up with these figures all the time. Is it an adequate poll? I guess is what I'm saying.
I think part of it was coronavirus. Part of it is exactly that they don't know how to ask the right questions to get what they really want. I think some people sometimes are candidly, there's some people who don't want to be seen as voting for Donald Trump because they don't want the follow-up what they believe is going to be the follow-up question.
Why?
The only thing here, right? The thing I am that encourages me is that I believe some people who are Republicans chose to vote for Biden, but then stayed their true course in Republican, right? So in a lot of these places, Republicans did much better than Donald Trump did. What that says is that people voted for Biden as president, but I'm going to keep my regular old, where I go normally and vote Republican. So I think that's it. And also, another good part about this is that they dumped a lot of money into places they didn't need to dump money into. They dumped a lot of money into Lindsey Graham, even though he was begging, he had a lot of money. Mitch MCConnell had a lot of money, and they lost some of these close house races due to the money they were pouring into some of these Senate campaigns. So, yay! Anything that makes them lose, I'm good.
Well, there's a lot of concern because if indeed Joe Biden does win the White House, and there's just been so much animosity with the Republicans, will he be able to reinstill that kind of camaraderie that they used to have in the Senate across the aisle? Will he be the one that can bring that back together again and get some of his proposals, his plans, as well as his members of his administration through in order to begin work and to get things done?
Well, that's kind of what he's known for.
Right.
Yeah, he's that guy who's Mr. Middle of America, known for reaching across the aisle. And I will say, in all fairness, that there probably are some Republicans who are willing to take the olive branch and come together and get something done. My biggest disappointment out of all of them was Mitch McConnell, because he will sit on something like it's the royal throne and just sit there and not move. And I'm so afraid that basically what they did with Obama to say, okay, he's president, but it's our job to be the party of no and not get anything done. That's my biggest fear.
And to your point, Myra, there are all these bills that have been sitting there, including the John Lewis bill, including the bill regarding chokeholds and police actions and things like that. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out.
If you're on Mitch McConnell's side, he's been masterful in the Senate. Right? He's just been masterful. He's done all the things that if you're on Mitch McConnell's side, you'd want him to do. Mitch McConnell himself ensured there's a 6-3 majority on the conservative side of the Supreme Court. So that said, whether Biden can do it or not, it'll be an interesting question. What I do hold hope for, and I'm just glad he's going to try. I'll take, after 4 years of what we had, I'm going to try to say hello to people across the street. I'm good. Low bar right now. Low bar.
And it's interesting,
very low bar.
Right. It's interesting you say that, because if assuming the Biden-Harris ticket wins, I'm interested in hearing now what type of standards are you going to hold Biden-Harris to? What will you jump up and complain about now? Basically,
the fact that they're breathing.
There'll be something.
Yeah.
There'll be something.
Yeah,
There always is.
Always.
There always is, and that's the thing that fuels. Look, the worst thing that could happen for cable news is for Donald Trump to lose his election. Let's be clear. I guarantee you, when Biden is president, cable news ratings are going to tank. So they'll find something to stir up. Fox is already trying to prepare it. I'm sure.
Did you watch Fox? I text Sybil like at 1 o'clock in the morning, going, what kind of fuzzy math were they doing? They had Biden got 260 something, Trump has 100, and I'm going, what? Where are they getting these numbers from? It was like
Fox?
It was like they had gone to Miss Cleo. Like Miss Cleo, what do you think the numbers are? Because I went to MSNBC, I went to ABC. Nobody's numbers were coming close to what Fox had last night. It was crazy.
I think they started drinking early.
That's hilarious.
Did you see it, Sybil?
Yes, I did. When you text me,
Yeah.
and I went back to look at it, because I was channel surfing at that point, and I hadn't seen that. But yeah, it was bananas. It was bananas.
So may I do a little tribute to the unsung hero of this entire election, right?
Yes.
So Arizona has gone red so often. It's gone blue this time. And people are like, why did it go blue? I think I know why.
Blue.
Why? Share with us. Sharing music.
I should share music with him.
Yes.
It looks like his death wasn't in vain. Now it's time to shout out our man, John McCain. John McCain.
Because I figure I won't get another chance to use it tonight.
Looks like we're gonna get a chance to go to Arizona. Because that's what happens when you call heroes losing suckers. Now we got in that White House, we got a new person up in that mother. So John McCain, I think people in Arizona really took that to heart when Donald Trump kept repeatedly dissing John McCain. Yeah. And so Arizona, which is a red state, turned blue.
Since 96.
Yeah. So John McCain's death is not in vain.
And I hope when he walks out the White House or gets pulled out, snatched out of heaven, I hope that first night the spirit of John McCain circles his bed. Going, who's a loser now, sucker?
John McCain is in a higher place.
Yes.
And I think that the fact that they went after Cindy McCain to endorse Joe Biden because of their friendship, I think that what I would love to see. I can't speak for Meghan McCain because she's in a different stratosphere altogether. The daughter of John McCain, but I would love it if they hired either Cindy McCain or one of their sons who is in the military to be a part of the administration for the, for some military office or something, military affairs, veterans affairs, something. Because I just love the fact that, she took a risk. I mean, because even though, she's got a good life, she's settled and everything, but going against that Republican grain, and in the name of her husband, and the friendship that he had with Joe Biden, I give her a lot of credit for that. Jeff, is it Flock? Is it the former senator of Arizona? He not so much, although he did come out this past week and endorse Joe Biden. But I wish that he had stayed and really made a stand as one of those Republicans who was not going to kowtow to Trump, and that he was going to be what a lot of Republicans who have left the party have said, a real Republican, and not just a Trump Republican, which is a whole different animal altogether. Thank you, Jeff Flake. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Yeah, Jeff Flake. So there are a lot of people who have come out and endorsed him at the last minute. What's going to be interesting is people like Susan of Maine. She is going to, what that relationship is going to be with those other Republicans, because they did not stand with her and she didn't stand with them necessarily. So in a lot of respects. So all of these relationships, there's going to be some rearranging of chairs and what have you, not on the Titanic, but on the floor of the United States Senate. And also it's going to be interesting is how many people the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, is going to have as a part of her majorityship, because the House did not do well as far as the Democrats as opposed to Republicans.
Is it down 6 or?
Yeah.
Down 6.
Really, they went down 6?
Yeah.
Down 6.
Yeah. So she's not going to have
still majority, but down 6.
Yeah, but it's so slender. You know what I mean? It's like you can be a badass if you want to, but you're not necessarily going to have that kind of majority that you're going to need to get some of these things passed. So, Myra, how are things looking in Georgia regarding the Senate races?
So Senate races, it's still Purdue. It was at, I think, 50.8%. Also, it's still close, not looking good. And then they're saying it's a runoff, between Leffler, and Warnock. But my fear, and I really want him to win. But like I said, those Republicans will stick together. So once Doug Collins stepped out the thing, even though him and Kelly bumped heads, like two pit bulls, today we need to get behind her, and they will line up like ducks. Like ducks
at the Peabody Hotel.
Yes. So it's they have not called the Ossoff Purdue race though. Yeah, they're still saying too close to call. And Fulton County, DeKalb County we just hanging in there. We're like, please, sweet black baby Jesus, just help us. help us at this point, because it's so close. And the frustrating part is this is probably the closest Georgia has been in a long time since Clinton won. And when you think about those 10, 15, 20 people who didn't vote, who could have made the difference, who will sit back next week and just be talking trash like, see, man, that's why it don't do no good. That's why I don't even vote, because, shoot, all the people line up there for them 10, 12 hours. I wasn't going to do. Well, see, we don't know what effect it is because all of us have never voted before. We don't know how powerful that is because it's never happened.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the third party? There's a third and fourth party candidate that made all the difference in 16. Was it Johnson? And I can't remember her name.
Gary Johnson and Dr.
As a woman, and now the votes that they got in Pennsylvania and Michigan made the difference between Trump and Clinton. So
and as a matter of
I haven't
fact,
seen the Kanye numbers, by the way. I have not seen the Kanye
I
numbers.
haven't seen anything either.
They said he got 3,000 votes in some state. I read where 3,000 people threw away their votes for Kanye.
If that state is what? Where's Biden's ahead by just 8,000 somewhere? So you know it's going to go to a recount. You know it's going to go to a recount. Oh wait, did you see the Secretary of State for Arizona though? The woman who's like, they were like, "Are you going to have a recount?" Like, we are doing this count right. And she's like, "We have got this. Y'all do you. We got this." Karen, go on with your bad self.
You know who was funny to me, and I'd never seen him before. He is the lieutenant governor for Pennsylvania, and he looks like he could be one of the Sons of Anarchy.
Married to a sister.
Yeah.
Married to a sister.
Yeah, and you could tell because he didn't quite work his neck, but at one point somebody asked him a question. He's like, "Seriously?" So it's really quite interesting and quite an interesting fellow too. I just started, how you just end up in that internet wormhole and you just find yourself just looking more and more about a person, and so that was him. Michael Stallworth brings up an interesting point. He was with us last night, and thank you, Michael, for joining us. 20% of the Black men voted for Trump in this election yesterday. 20%? 20?
I don't even know why. I'll be honest with you. I can't understand. Okay, so my old employer, Bob Johnson, I get it because he, like Trump, it's the bottom line. It's the bottom line. But I don't understand what the appeal is, and maybe somebody can explain it to me. So maybe one of our viewers can watch.
Maybe one of those Black men who voted for him. I'd love to know why. But also the Latin men really voted for Donald Trump. They like that machismo.
Well, one of the things with Donald Trump and some of the Black men who voted for it, they are so pissed with Kamala Harris for her record in California as Attorney General. And so
But Myra, what about the way Donald Trump has disrespected Black men? And what about the way that Donald Trump has talked about Mexicans coming over the border who are rapists and murderers?
But look, with many, many Trumpsters, they have one thing, like the evangelicals, he's anti-abortion. I don't give a damn what else he does. Their thing was, she put Black men in prison. I don't want her in there. I don't give a damn about anything else. They find one thing and they hold on to it.
So I'm gonna go in devil's advocate on this one, right? So you're right. Donald Trump has said all these horrible things about Mexicans. You're good on both sides. Kamala Harris actually did it, right? So there's two. It's kind of different. Like, saying it is one thing, and there's a lot of people who can get around that, but it's hard. It's hard for people to get past the actual action.
Did she make the law, or did she enforce the law?
Yeah.
So she was part of making the law. She was a proponent of making, and I don't know the details of it, but I know she was active in the laws being changed. And it was also a different time. Like, it is something that didn't really get addressed. Mm-hmm. And I said we said on this show or our top podcast, if she were selected vice president, she needs to run that head on. Like, she needs to address it head on. And I never felt that actually happened. It was kind of a skirt around. And I think one of the worst things you can do if someone is upset with you or something is just like skirt around, as opposed there's much more respect if you come and deal with it head on. Like, it was a different time. I'm so sorry that I did it. I think Biden got a lot of credit because he ran head on to, like, that was a different time. I was stupid to do it. And so people could go like, I'm getting it too.
But I
So-
do think she's in the position to correct the wrongs.
Yeah.
And just like you said, it's a new day.
Yes.
It's a new day. So do you want the person who used to F up in the past, who has changed and now is making things better, or the person who F'd up in the past and just brought all them F's with them and F'ing up now and gonna continue to F up in the future? That's his platform. That's what he's running on. That's what he does.
And let me ask these black men who voted for Donald Trump, who don't like what Kamala Harris did or said. What black woman has not given you a second and a third and a fourth chance that you cannot give this woman a chance?
Yeah, I know a couple of people need to be calling in right now. You know who you are.
Cease to be the devil's advocate on that. It went somewhere else. So,
I'll wait.
I don't even want to check my text messages right now. So
Wait a minute. You know when they stir their little ice around and they drink, like, You heard me.
When the ice is stirring itself.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't do that.
Look, I don't know. I really would like to know if that's the reason why black men voted for Trump. When it was an answer. It would be disappointing. I mean, I was just playing devil's advocate.
I've had conversations with black men as to why they don't like, and that is the number one thing. She put brothers in jail. I'll never vote for her. Absolutely. They're very adamant. Never.
I think if you're looking for an excuse, then that's probably the best thing you can do. I think that Donald Trump does appeal to a lot of people because he's a badass, because he doesn't give a flying.
He's a dumbass too. You gotta pick your asses. You know? You gotta be careful with the asses that you choose.
Not pick your asses. No, thank you. But I think that there's something very sexy about him. Just the same way that there is not sexy, but appealing to a lot of people, because he really doesn't give a, you know what.
Right.
I think that just like with, because Donald Trump used to be very popular in the whole, specter of who he was, and the Trump Tower, and the planes and all of that kind of stuff, and the women, and I remember discussions like when he had his family at a ski resort in Colorado or Utah, and he was having an affair with Marla Maples.
Marla Maples, yep.
And it blew up. Yeah.
And it blew up.
And they're like, that's just player. That's just, even though it blew up in his face, they're like, boy, that's major, But, okay. But not thinking about the fact that this is the man who still says that the exonerated 5 are guilty as hell and should be put to death.
And this is a man who lies constantly. So that's why when people, he said blah, 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 he says a lot of stuff. Yeah. Why would you believe a liar like, yeah, but he wouldn't lie to me? Yeah. Okay, keep on believing that. How many times have I gotten into a bad relationship behind that? Back to stirring.
Myra, what is your beverage of choice today? We can have that as a weekly feature.
You are gonna have me the alcoholic of the show. This is a watered down Pepsi.
Nice.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah, I know. Boring.
No, Pepsi. Sorry.
I know I shouldn't have said that. I'm in Atlanta, huh?
Right, yeah.
I forgot it's Jesus, Coke, and Delta. I forgot where I was.
Now, did you go up or did you go down?
I went down.
Okay, so we talked about 20% of the black men who voted for Donald Trump, and the election season has broken records nationwide. 100 million people obviously voting early, and people reportedly standing in lines and what have you. But the determination of communities of color is very strong this year, and black and brown Americans have the power to decide who becomes the next president. And from the early numbers, it looks like they did represent, and they're not surprised, even in light of the coronavirus pandemic, even in light of, whatever could have kept them from going to the polls, they did not. And it was just really amazing to me, and especially the early ballots that were mailed in, and people going through that. Okay, you got to sign it here, you have to check off here, you have to put it in your security envelope, and make sure that it gets there. That
Do,
hats
do
off.
you think that the high numbers, because these numbers were even higher than when Obama ran, and those numbers were off the chart. Do you think that the high numbers represented people voting against something or for something?
Overall, I would say a majority against.
That's what I think.
Yeah. Steve?
My first thought was Biden wins, so I don't care. But I think against. I think it was that way on both sides, right? I think folks were throwing their vote at Biden like Rihanna threw money at me at the BET Awards that time. Like, whatever.
Did you stop and pick it up?
No.
Okay.
Allegedly. No. I think it really was against. I think it was against something. I think that's unfortunate. I think it's unfortunate. And I'm hoping that Biden, you talk about going across the aisle. I hope that's something that can be solved, hopefully in the next 2 years. And I hope there's a bit more of a shift in the next 2 years. But I want to go back for just a second to, and we talked about this briefly after we get off the air, you and I, Sybil, is that what yesterday showed to me is that where Black and brown had kind of shared desires and shared values before, I think this is the election where it may be pulled apart, right?
Yeah.
A lot of brown went Trump, and a lot of brown, especially in Florida, but in Texas, in places where there are a lot of brown people, went Trump.
Yeah.
And because Trump has it's a crabs in a barrel thing. So a lot of them are for immigration. Like, I know I got here, but I don't want anybody else to get here.
Yes.
Right. And some of the financial plans and Donald Trump spent a lot of time in the brown community. Like, kudos to him, not in the Black community, but in the brown community. So if nothing else, what we really have to watch out for is what now seems to be a wedge between what Black folk want and what brown folk want. Like, everybody should have what they want, but like, I think we should be aware that we're not Black and brown anymore. We're Black and brown.
Yeah. And to your point, a lot of conversation about how as far as the money was spent in the Latin community, advertising was just off the chain for the Hispanic radio stations and what have you. I mean, they just talk about the millions and millions of dollars that went into advertising on the part of the Trump campaign. And so I think that that's absolutely right. And then, of course, you're talking to Cubans, and you're talking anti-Castro stuff. In Florida especially, and that was a big draw for them as well.
And let's be clear, if Trump had spent that same amount of money in the Black community and really talked honestly to us about things he might have wanted, that 20% men would have gone up, right? He never did that, right? He did in the brown community what we want a candidate to do in the Black community. Like, that's what we want. We want them to come to us like, look, I know I got an issue with y'all. Let's really work this out. And he started, the thing is, that started before the election cycle. So nobody thought it was just because of the election, right? They come to Black folks, it's just because of the election. But Trump realized, to his campaign's credit, they thought years ahead and started back right after 2016 to try to win this Hispanic vote, because they knew it could win. And they came that close. But that close to really count. Ah! Can you feel it, Brandon? Not yet. Not yet.
What's the song? Almost doesn't count? Yeah, exactly.
Almost doesn't count.
Yeah, I heard that before too.
Swirl.
With a watered down
Pepsi.
Yeah, sure.
With some vodka down Pepsi. I'm sorry.
So let me ask you, if by chance Joe Biden wins this election, and think in terms of his cabinet, and how it will look, especially with the people that he ran against in the primaries up to this. Okay, who would you like to see? And maybe it's not any of the people that he ran against. Maybe it's not his competition, but who would you like to see in some of these spots in the cabinet, or does it bother you? Does it matter to you?
I like to see Cory Booker. I like to see Elizabeth Warren. Definitely somebody from the squad. Yeah, for sure.
Now remember, these people have to go through the Senate.
Well, everybody got to go through the Senate. So.
Well, I'm just thinking of the squad and how much people like AOC and Ayanna Pressley and all of those folks, how popular they are with the old heads in the United States Senate.
I know, but even still, it has to be a new day. You know, we need something fresh. We need somebody.
It has to be a what?
It has to be a new day. It has to be something fresh.
Can you feel it?
I missed my cue. I'm sorry.
He was probably just thinking of a real answer to this.
I was like, what did I say?
As I said before, I would
Stacey Abrams.
Oh,
yeah.
So let me ask you this: do you think she's ever going to run for office in Georgia, or like because is she going to run for governor again? Do you think she'll run for Senate the next time? What do you think?
To be honest, I would like to see her run for governor and sit in the House where she should be sitting now.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And let's see. Since I've been here, Jason Carter, who I think was Jimmy Carter's grandson, lost it. It's like everybody comes so close.
Yeah.
Everybody gets to that 47, 48%. And I just think it's that magic number. And I just want to know who is that 2 to 3% of people who aren't freaking voting? You know, like, are they down in Valdosta? Like, you know, where do we need to go to really get these people fired up to say, but it does make a difference, you know?
Yeah. Steve, do you have any New York news? I'm going to come back to you about the cabinet, but I was just thinking, do you have any offices or any elections that were won that stick out in your head in the state of New York or New York
No,
State?
and so I'm going to say yes. I want to, and I can't remember their names off the top of my head. I've read about, but the first 2 openly gay congressmen are out of New York, and I apologize if, I think so. And so, so I think that's a great step forward. I was shocked that they're the first. Wait, Barney Frank. Wait a minute. Oh, maybe first 2 African American.
Yes.
Okay, 2 African American. Okay, first 2 African American, openly gay African American. So I'm glad, you know, that there's yet another barrier broken. And when it comes to, and I'll tie that into the cabinet in terms of, because it's great to see barriers broken. I don't care. I don't know enough to know who's in the cabinet. All I care about is that someone, unlike now, there's at least a few people in the cabinet that can tan. Like, it's a low bar, but it was someone who, when sun is applied to their body, it goes more brown than red. Just desire.
You have set quite a standard there.
I know.
See what you mean. And I think Biden will meet it. So I feel good about that.
Yeah. A Georgia girl on YouTube says that she would like to see Obama on the Supreme Court. Is that Mrs. or Mr.?
Nice. High five. Nice.
Which would that be, Georgia girl? But I also like to see Anita Hill, as I've said before. I'd like to see Anita Hill on the Supreme Court, sitting right next to Clarence Thomas.
Doing one of these here. So, Clarence, well, look at here. Clarence. So we meet again. Clarence.
Who is?
And I spy.
Oh, by the way, I'm so glad you said it because I knew I couldn't. I knew I couldn't. I was like,
You wouldn't be the first to do
so
that.
who? So is there? This is an indelicate question. I admit it. So, is there a possible opening for a Supreme Court justice in the next 4 years?
I think so. I think Clarence Thomas, I'm not sure if he would, but he's the oldest on the court, and he's well into his 70s now, right? And so
Yeah, he's got to be.
I think that God forbid, I don't want any, I don't wish any ill will towards. But I'm thinking that it might be a situation like like Scalia.
I don't think that he would go anywhere.
He won't go. Oh no,
No.
he's not going to resign. He's not
right.
If it happens, it'll go that way. But all the rest of them are pretty young.
Yeah.
So
I didn't realize how little experience. I didn't really realize how little experience Amy Barrett Comey Donnie does. But
yeah, we talked about that. The fact that she had just 2 years ago been appointed to the federal bench.
Wow.
Like she tried a couple of traffic tickets and that's it. Right?
Yeah,
Supreme Court now. That's crazy.
Yeah. But that's that privilege that and she worked the system because she was a part of that legal team with the 2000 Supreme Court ruling.
She got tapped early. Early.
Well, she probably did. She got 7 kids. What?
Sybil
What?
Sybil
What?
said it. Sybil.
What?
Sybil said it. I didn't say it this time, y'all. Look.
But yeah, she has little to no experience, and just her youth on her side, and the fact that she was, a mentee to Scalia, and so just worked her way through the system. And 2 years ago, appointed to a federal bench, one of those that was passed along by Mitch MCConnell, and now she is Supreme Court Justice, and just ain't fair. Somebody said they'd like to see Andrew Gillum in the cabinet.
That'd be very nice.
Why not?
Why not? Indeed, I got a chance to talk to him this week, and it's just so good to hear him, and just know that he has so much promise still to do great things in this world. So I love that idea too. That's Joy on YouTube.
Yeah. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with that. I believe what goes on between grown folks is grown folks' business. It's not my business. I don't give a damn what my cable guy did. Do your freaking job when you get here. That's all I need to.
Which is laying cable. So
just like you said.
But it's really freaky you get done early. Talk to me.
You know what I'm saying? And I do appreciate that upgrade, okay?
Upgrade.
Okay, hey.
Wait, hold up. You can use the leftover cable for what?
Right. I had no idea what all them plugs were for.
I can have
So that's the
5,000
difference between
hours
HDMI
on my
cable.
DVR. Okay, before we go, I want to give a story about Black Girl Magic. Michelle Davis Younger is making history as the first Black female and Democratic mayor of Manassas, Virginia. Congratulations. Yeah. 2 sitting councilwomen vying to make history as the first female mayor, and Davis Younger beat her Republican competitor, Councilwoman Teresa Coates Ellis. I guess you had to have 3 names in order to be in. She is a Manassas native and a human resources consultant, and aware of the challenges of being the first female mayor during these difficult times. Congratulations to you, Madam Mayor. So here we have the end of this little broadcast. Did we miss anything?
No, I was hoping to get more numbers. Things are just closer and closer. They are saying that they're going to give new vote totals for Arizona and Georgia. I think you said In what, an
Arizona's
hour?
did 9. So Arizona's got 2 numbers coming. One at 9 o'clock Eastern time and one at 12:30 Eastern time.
Okay.
The very, very fly Secretary of State of Arizona. That's why I want the cabinet, because she handles quick. She was like, yeah, Trump can say what he wants to, but like, we doing this right. You may find a vote on the bottom of somebody's shoe, but that ain't gonna be my fault. It's gonna be one vote. For real.
Just to give an update, thank you, Yolanda. I'm not sure what the news source is. It wasn't Apple News though, and they updated a minute ago. And the electoral, we just lost it. Oh, there you are. The electoral vote is 264 for Biden. They're still keeping it there, and 214 for Trump.
Okay.
264.
264. Yeah.
I wonder what they called to get that 11. I wonder what they called.
It has to be Arizona.
It has to be Arizona because Arizona.
That's the 11.
Yeah.
Okay, because what else is that? What else is that? What else? I'm sorry, Arizona, Nevada with 6.
And that one is
Pennsylvania
what,
with
Maine?
Germany, Georgia. I call it Germany.
And
Georgia.
according to this, they are giving Arizona to Biden.
Oh.
51 to 47%. 84% reporting. And so, so Arizona, Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin. We
So
talked
all
about.
he needs is Nevada now.
Yeah.
Officially, all he needs is Nevada. He's leading, and it does trend blue. So
And Trump needs everything that's remaining.
yes.
Right, because Nevada, if I'm not mistaken, Nevada has the smallest number of electoral votes that's left, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So Trump needs absolutely every state that is left in order to win.
Right.
I hope not.
Between me and you,
I hope not. I hope not.
Shout out John McCain.
Yes.
Posthumously bringing it through.
Yes.
Or more appropriately, Donald Trump's reaction to that war hero is what's bringing this election through. It hit him in his own butt.
Yes.
Ooh,
Karma.
the story's getting better.
Karma.
The story gets better and better. Ooh.
Karma.
And you know what, Donald Trump?
Yeah. Everybody should just come outside, go on the Black Lives Matter Avenue.
Donald, who's the loser and the sucker now? Who's the loser and the sucker now?
Not a war hero.
Not
a hero.
I'm doing.
I prefer people who don't get caught.
Yeah,
that was the worst. Was that?
It was
horrible.
It was a low point. It was the non-racial low point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think there were lower points, but that was the non-racial low point.
Yeah. Well, I think it'll be interesting when we meet next where we are in this whole scheme of things, and the soap opera that is American politics continues.
And yes, and he is suing everybody. He's suing Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Georgia now, and probably John McCain.
And don't forget the District of Columbia, just because that Black Lives Matter.
Right.
By the way, shout out to District of Columbia. The only I think their count was 95% Biden, 5% Trump. That's how you do it.
That's in the place where you live, where you go every day.
Exactly. Pop, good times. Thanks, you guys. First of all, thank you so much for last night. Thank you. I know you've heard that before, Stephen Hill, and I'm sure you've heard that too, Myra. Thank you guys last night coming on and having such a great time on the round table. That was really special.
I'm doing public because I completely forgot. I apologize for last week. I was in Mexico, and Mexico had a time change that was different than the U.S. time change. So I got it all wrong. So Sybil, Myra, I apologize profusely. I meant to tell you that before,
I missed you. And happy
I
belated.
apologize.
Sure.
Thank you.
You were celebrating your birthday and forgot to do the show.
No, that was not.
He's throwing his watch around. What's this?
Let's be clear. I would be doing my best show if I was celebrating. So I'm not going to avoid this. I'm not avoiding YouTube. I'm not avoiding YouTube if I get a.
Stephen Hill tomorrow night. Sunglasses and soul
music. It was going to be a rainy day. Okay, the short version is I started the show last week, and then stuff started falling from a skyscraper in New York City, which is where I'm right across from that skyscraper. Started raining down metal and glass. So I was going to do rain tomorrow, but I think it's going to be more celebratory in tone tomorrow. So I think it's going to be "Can You Feel a Brand New Day?" Just over and over and over again from the West. Can you feel
On a loop.
Can you feel a brand new day? Can you feel a brand new? Can you feel a brand new day? Yes, yes.
And what about Saturday night on Sirius XM?
Oh, Ceelo Green, one of my favorite voices of all time.
Oh, wow.
Ceelo Green, who and as Ceelo Green, as Goody Mob, as Gnarls Barkley has had a couple of unbelievable hits. He's got a new album out now called Ceelo Green is Thomas Galloway, his Calloway, which is his real name. And so I'm looking forward to that. Sirius XM, Heart to Heart with Stephen Hill, 11 p.m.
Channel 48.
Channel 48. Channel 48.
Are you going to Saturday Night Live Saturday night?
No, I'm not. You know what? I didn't think about that until just now. The answer is no right now. They have it's a very limited audience. They have all the seats are really for first responders for most of them, and then direct guests. But I've been known to sneak in the back door too. So
I've heard that.
I heard it when it came out of my mouth. I heard it when
Bye.
Bye, everybody.